please use the open StreamYard app.
What happened? Uh-oh. Well, good evening, everyone. We're having technical difficulties, so please give us a few moments. But thank you all for joining. Let's Talk Trauma with Coach Tammy. Of course, when you're trying to do something and you're trying to talk about something, you're trying to break generational curses or put a head on something, it's always difficulty that comes in and don't want us to do this, but we will. And my guest, Renata, will be on soon. So we're just going to just sit back and enjoy. But thank you for joining us. She should be joining us back soon. All right, there she is.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
I'm like,
I
what
was
is
just
oh my god.
listen. I was just telling everyone. I said, "Hey, we having technical difficulty because, of course, when we're trying to do something and we're gonna break some chains and talk about stuff that we don't normally talk about,
Oh
it's
my
gonna
gosh.
right. But it's
That was
okay.
crazy.
But it's okay. We're here now and we're live. We're live. Yes, we're live. So, woosah. Right.
Cheers to be live.
So, I am Coach Tammy. I am the creator of this podcast, Let's Talk Trauma. And the reasoning behind Let's Talk Trauma is because a lot of times we deal with trauma, we go through life with trauma, and we don't get the help that we need or seek the help that we need. And for me, my trauma started with childhood. Okay. And so I grew up not knowing the trauma that was inflicted on me. Didn't even know it was, actually called trauma or PTSD or whatever you want to call it. Didn't know until I got older and started seeking therapy. And I was like, oh, wow. And by that time, I had injured a lot of people with my own trauma, you know? So this is the whole reasoning. And this is why I became a life coach, really, because of my childhood trauma. But enough about me, because I can go on about me. I have my special guest here, my sister in love, Renata Cooper. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we're gonna get started.
Hi guys. I am Renata Cooper, as she said, and I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to allow my voice to be heard and just spread light on this topic that sometimes is swept under the rug when you are dealing with our community, you know. So
Right.
I thank you for allowing me to be a guest. First guest.
Yes, yes, very first guest.
Yes, so
Yes.
I do.
I'm glad you accepted. I'm glad you accepted.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. So, let's just dive into it. So living with life with unhealed trauma. What was life like with you, with your trauma? Like I told you, we don't have to go on. Let's give my disclaimer. Let me give the disclaimer. We are not certified licensed therapists. We are not psychiatrists. We're none of that. I am a life coach. I help people, I mentor and coach people on life experiences and help them better achieve themselves and reaching their goals. Okay. Um, Renata is the bomb hairstylist, Diva Diz. So we're
Hair
just
therapist.
hair therapist,
Hair
yes, hair therapist, yeah. So we're just here talking about life experiences, what we've experienced, okay, and the things that helped us. Okay, so if anything is said here that you all, someone it hits home, and you want some resources or information, you can reach out. But we're not no way. That's the disclaimer on here. We're not licensed therapists, okay? All right. So, unhealed trauma, life with unhealed trauma. Where did it start with you?
You know, just like you said, you don't even realize. that you are facing trauma until you realize what it is. And
Right.
when you realize that you have inflicted of your what you have gone through on others, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to kind of answer that question of when it was that I realized it. But I would say at a young age, and when you asked me about this and I said I don't want to get too personal, I feel like a little bit you have to get a little personal for people to kind of understand where you are coming from. But I
Right.
also want to give a disclaimer that when I do get personal, that it's not throwing shade at my past, because there are things that I have overcome from my past. But in order for me to share and to be relatable, there are some things that I do need to bring up. Um, and I would have to say that some of my trauma came from not having a father in my life, not having an active father in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I say that, but I also want to come back and say that before my father passed away, we were able to uh, create a relationship, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But
Yeah.
I can't go back and say that a lot of stuff that I went through was because of that absent father figure in my life, and I believe that that's where a lot of things, kind of unraveled for me, that didn't make me feel complete, and
Mm.
just knowing, and
Yeah.
and being angry and not knowing why I'm angry. I do feel like that is the beginning of some of the unhealed trauma that I lived with.
And you know what? You said all that, and it's so amazing that I didn't even know this when I asked you this. And it's again the similarities that we have. So I
Mm-hmm.
know this wasn't nothing but God, because that's where my trauma started from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my
Mm-hmm.
my my absentee father, and again, like you said, not throwing shade at your past, because our past made us who we are. Let's
Exactly.
keep it real. Let's keep it real. Our past
Exactly.
made us who we are, and my childhood trauma came from, you know, I knew who my dad was, grew up with my dad, you know, with my dad around. Let me say that, with my dad around. But
Mm-hmm.
the fact of him not acknowledging me, I'll say that, acknowledging me. I'm in his presence, but he never acknowledged me, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and that rejection, that's
Mm-hmm.
where that rejection, because it was 16 years of my life where I'm around your family every weekend, my grandma picking me up, spending time with the family, and you're there, but
Right.
I'm invisible to you,
Mm-hmm.
and so that there, and I didn't even realize growing up that was that trauma,
Right. Right. Right.
seeking love in all the wrong places, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
just,
People
I mean,
please,
girl,
trying to be
yeah,
a people pleaser, wanting people to
yes,
do, and just wanting to feel accepted in some capacity.
right,
You know.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
wanting to be loved, and
Mm-hmm.
just getting into very unhealthy and toxic relationships.
And friendships.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yep.
that's not, yes, yes, ma'am.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's where it stemmed from. So it's amazing that we have that connection and didn't even know it,
Right. Right.
And I would say, let me see, I have a quiz. Let me see. So how do you, let me see how I want to put this. Because again, not throwing shade at our past and
Right.
not trying to draw anyone else into it.
Not trying
Um,
to throw anybody under the bus.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. How do you feel the trauma that you experienced affected the people around you, the closest people around you?
Well, I felt like it affected them in a negative way, because when you experience rejection, wow, that's a good question. Because when you experience rejection and then you have people around you that are showing you love, sometimes you question the love.
Is it
Because
genuine?
why do you love me, but this person don't love me? How
Right.
can you really love me and this person don't love me? Like
Mhm.
it's like questions. So you back and forth in your head, and you're creating this scenario that doesn't even really exist.
Right.
So you're causing friction, and you're angry because you don't. At the time, I couldn't pinpoint what it was. So you're kind of guarded a little bit, I guess,
Mhm.
because you don't really want to show your love with the feeling of being rejected. you
Right.
know?
Right.
So
Because that makes you angrier. Because then it makes you want to put up more walls. Because I've already opened up. I allowed you in my space,
yeah, yeah,
knowing that I didn't want to, but I
yeah.
did.
But I did
And now,
anyway.
there you go.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
added on to it. So yeah, I totally get it because I've had walls for years. Still have some.
me
I
too.
st- I still have some because it's really hard if people never experience rejection. And I tell people that all the time. If you never experienced rejection, and I'm talking about deep rooted rejection, because this is from childhood, you
Exactly,
know,
exactly,
you
exactly.
could you could never know that it takes a long time for me to really, I know, for me to open up and let someone in and say
Yeah,
that I love you,
yeah, yeah.
because again, I still, and I don't like it, but I am who I am.
Right.
I still have a sense of I want to make people happy and
Mm-hmm.
please people,
Mm-hmm.
even though I know at times I shouldn't. But if
Right.
I open up and let myself in, and if I let you in, then I want to make sure that you're happy. You know that I'm doing everything, and then you disappoint me and you let me down.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
those triggers.
yeah. Oh, she froze. Please don't freeze. Look at how she froze. Oh man, don't freeze. Y'all, here we go. If you can hear me, it's frozen on my. I think it is my end because it's spinning. Oh shit. What do I need to do? Or is it my end? Oh shit.
Hey,
Was that mine?
no, it was mine. I had to log in. I'm logging in from my phone.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought it was
Let,
mine because the thing is spinning up there. I thought it was mine.
let me tell you, the devil is mad right now. We just touched something.
Somebody ain't happy.
Somebody not happy. We just touched on something. I mean, hey, but hey, that's what it's all about because we have to start breaking these cycles.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
we have to start breaking these cycles because it becomes generational.
yeah, it does. And it's funny that you say that too, because that's what me and my sister were talking about today about, you know, it stops. It stops right here. We're not going to allow this to continue on to our children and then to their children and then to their children. We're going to do as much as we possibly can to kind of stop it. And I just want to kind of like piggyback on what you were saying about how, the trauma affects other people around you. I feel like not only did it affect like my friends and my family, but it also, you know, in my work life too, because I work with women all day long. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, to see, there were times I can just like remember times just being angry, you know, because sometimes I would hear stories of how people were so happy with their families, or, you know, something may have happened to me or a conversation and just triggered. And I just wanted to like build a wall. Like I didn't want to allow anyone in my space. You know, I didn't want to share in that happiness. I just wanted to build a wall, do your hair, and then leave. You know, it just
Right.
like robot. You know, that's how I felt.
Right.
Just like a robot. You know, just
Yeah.
because I don't want to allow anyone into my space to possibly hurt me. So I don't want to be
Right.
hurt. So I put up a wall. You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I tell you, I have, and it's so funny that you said it because I have, I consider myself a people person. I love people. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess it's because everything that I've been through, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want nobody to experience what I've experienced as far as rejection. So I try to show love to
Right.
everyone. But
Right.
I really have a hard time receiving that.
Me
I
too.
I really do. I have a hard time receiving love because I don't know if it's genuine. I know my love is genuine,
Right.
but I question your love, and so that trickled over into a lot of my relationships. You
That's
know,
good. That's a good. That's a good analogy right there. What you just said. That's good because I felt that. I feel that.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it trickled over, and I really I really believe that I probably would have been married by now if I didn't have if I didn't have all these issues or had all the issues and the trust issues and you know the not feeling worthy, the low
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem, because with that rejection came a lot. I can't speak for you, but I know for me, the rejection, I went through depression, anxiety, a lot of the stuff, and we have to keep it real and call it what it is, mental illness, because
Yeah.
all of that is mental illness,
It is.
you
It
know?
is. It is. It is.
And I went through that, and that affected not only, and when I look back at it, it not only affected me, but what it did to my children, my
Mm-hmm.
mom, my siblings, and the
Yeah.
other people, the closest people around me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to explain to them that I wasn't being selfish,
Right.
but it's just I didn't know how to receive it. I knew how to give it, and I'm
Yeah.
a very affectionate person, but I shut down when you try to give it to me because I'll be like, okay, that's fake. That ain't real.
Yeah.
Nah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like yeah. Um so what are some ways when you realized what your trauma was, and what age? I know I was in my 30s, late 30s, when I realized, you know this is what it is and I need to seek help.
Mm-hmm. So I was probably in my 30s too, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell you, I would go to work and I would drink, and I know that it was actually Jay one time. I remember him saying it was one of them big Crown apple bottles, and I had drank that in like a week, and he was like, something ain't right. He was like, you need to, why you say you drank all of that in a week? And I was just like, yeah. I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it at the time. And then I also knew that, there was also a time when I was at work and I didn't have anything to drink. And I remember being at work. I remember this day I was at work and I forgot my drink at home and I did not have nothing to drink at work and I was angry. But I went to the freezer and I had an airplane bottle and I was happy. And I said, I knew that something this won't right.
Yeah.
So I did. I went and talked to somebody, and it was like, well, it's so funny because it was like, well, the fact that you're kind of acknowledging this is kind of like, I wonder if there's a pre AA that you can go to. No,
Oh wow.
You
Oh
know,
wow.
but you know, when I went there and talked to them, I was like, okay, something ain't right. You know, I need to stop. I need to cut back on that. You know, so and I did too. But the fact that I had to just to drink to just numb everything, just to get away from it. You know that was a problem.
And Renata, you say, girl, we have more in common than we even do. Oh my God. Because I called myself a functioning alcoholic. I did. I mean, because I was. I had to
Yeah.
call it, I had to tell the truth. I was.
Mm-hmm.
I could not go through the day without having a drink. I had to
Had it.
have a drink. And my choice of happiness at the time, and that's what I called it. My choice of happiness was Jose Cuervo. You know that tequila. I was shotting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was shotting it. And honestly, this is real, and so people need to understand this is real. This is this is not play. This is not made up. Like
No.
I worked at the pharmacy. Now I'm telling on myself, but I worked at the pharmacy for years. Um, and I literally had to have 2 shots before I went to work. Some days I will go to the car, I have something in the car, you know, get home, and it was a routine. My children already knew. And it was sad, and I hate I put my kids through that, but they knew to bring me my bottle and
Yeah.
my shot glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a functioning alcoholic, and my story's kind of similar to yours because I had to have it every day, and if I didn't have it, I was angry. I was angry. But just as soon as I got it, it was like, yes,
I'm
all
good
right, I'm
now.
ready. Yeah,
Good.
I'm
Let's
ready.
go.
You
Let's go.
know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until one Christmas. And see, I sought therapy when I was younger because my sister passed away and I was pregnant with my first daughter. So I I sunk into a depression then. I sought therapy then, but that therapist just she was not helping me at all. So I stopped. And one Christmas, it was right after my aunt passed away, which is my second mom. I was really depressed behind that. I took it really her death really, really hard because she was my second mom. Like really, like my go-to person for everything. Like she was my world. And I took it really hard. And that first Christmas without her, I got literally like we're at my sister's house and they fixing, I'm shotting and I'm drinking, I'm just everything. It was like, all right, let's drink. Cause I come from a family of drinkers. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's drink. I ended up with alcohol poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Passed out on my sister got a brand new chair, had brand new furniture. I messed up her furniture. I had to,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
And that was my wake up call right there.
Yeah.
I need to get help
Yeah.
because I'm trickling down. It's getting to the way now. I can't I can't hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to get help. So that was the first time since I was 17, I sought help again, and it helped me. But I tell you, it helped me because she had me journaling and doing all this good stuff. But what really helped me was going back to church, getting back in the church,
Mm-hmm.
and building that relationship. Now, not saying not when I started back in church, not saying that I stopped drinking altogether because I
Right.
didn't.
Right. Right.
Because that's when you're dealing with the demons, those type of demons, you're gonna fall back into it.
You
Something's
can't.
gonna happen. You're gonna be triggered. Something's going to happen,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. But I can honestly say, Lord, now I drink a glass of wine every now and then, every now and then. So hey, but when I asked God to take that taste because I knew where I was headed, and knowing that my father was an alcoholic,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and I watched him over the years,
Mm. Mm.
and I really say I hate this, but I really believe alcohol took his life. You know.
Yeah. But the thing is, the sad part is that, you know, your dad might have been fighting a depression that he didn't even know about.
And he was, you
Yeah.
know, and I didn't find out until we started reconciling our relationship. And I went to him, and he was telling me he didn't deserve me as a daughter for,
Mm-hmm.
because of all that he done to me
Mm-hmm.
growing up. And I was like, well, I told him I forgave you. I have forgiven you for that. You have to forgive yourself. And he
Yeah.
told me then he was suffering, because I asked him, I said, Dad, I said, I plan on getting married one day. I want you to walk me down the aisle. I want you to be sober. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to be sober when you walk me down the aisle. And he was like, all right, you going to get married? Okay. So he did. He got clean for 6 months. That was awesome. But
Yeah.
he went right back into it. And
Mm-hmm.
he told me, he said, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, I'm depressed because I did you wrong and I don't deserve your love.
Right.
And
Right.
nothing I could ever say to him after that, or anything I did, made him feel any way, no different about himself. Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
At the end of the day, I hope that does not make you feel away, because that was his battle. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
forgave him, and that wasn't your burden to carry. Like that was his. You know.
Yeah. And I don't, when my dad got sick, I made it my business to make sure, because he was put in a nursing home. So I made it my business to go visit, made sure that he knew that I loved him, that I was there. I made my presence known.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when it was all said and done, I had no regrets. I felt good
Mm-hmm.
because we mended that relationship.
Yeah,
And
that's the same. Yeah.
I knew that he knew that I loved him. Whether
Right.
he forgave himself or not, I can't
Right.
say. But
Right.
I know without a shadow of a doubt, he knew that his baby girl loved him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't have no regrets there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Renata, what are some of the ways that, I know we talked about therapy? Well, what other ways have you dealt with during your healing process from your trauma? Because healing, this process is daily, and we need to
Mm.
let the people know that it's daily.
It is.
Because I still myself fight from depression sometimes. I have to fight depression off. I have to fight that anxiety off. It's days that I don't want to get out of bed, but I
Mm.
have to remind myself of who I am. And
That's
there's
right.
some days I look in the mirror and I don't feel worthy. And I
Mm.
have to start casting down that too.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
still days that we got to go through the process. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? And
That's
so
right.
what are some things that you do, or that you have done, that you think that seems to be working for you?
So I would say the main thing that I have done is, when I start feeling any type of way that's negative, I try to pinpoint why it is I'm feeling that way.
Right.
What made me feel this way?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's in my control, I can try to do something about it. But if it's not in my control, I have to understand that I can't control people. I can't control what other people do. The only person that I can control is myself. So what
Right.
can I do in this situation? So self-reflecting is one thing that I
Mm,
do. Also,
good.
myself accountable. Like, if I have a bad attitude for no reason, why do you have a bad attitude for no reason?
Mm,
Yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
myself, and journaling is an outlet for me, because we have so many thoughts going through our mind, and
Mm-hmm.
we sometimes just releasing them on paper is all that you need to do, is just release it. You don't need to allow that thought to keep wandering on and just keep letting
Right.
your mind have control. And,
Right.
um yoga yoga has really, I mean, there are some times that I have done yoga, and at the end of that session I'm just crying on the mat, and I leave
Mm-hmm.
it right there on the mat. Like, I don't carry it with me. I don't. I think that the main thing through this healing process is to have control over your mind, because the
Yeah.
mind is so powerful. And if you don't stop those negative thoughts or those thoughts that will bring you down, then you will be, I'm not going to say weak, but you will be powerless. And
Yeah.
you have to let your mind know that I'm in control. When you're
Yeah.
sitting there and you're meditating and your mind start wandering, or it's like, oh, go do this, go do that. Your head itching. What's that noise? If you don't stop that,
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
you you
Yeah.
really have to tell your mind, like, no, that's not,
Yes.
I'm not that person. Or no, I'm not going to do that. Whatever it is, you have to, whatever it is in your power, you have to try to grasp those negative thoughts, and you have to take them by the tail, and you have to take control. So
Amen.
main thing I've done in my healing process is taking control over myself, and just tapped into what I know is right to do. And I mean, that's mainly the thing that I've done, is just really just take control back, taking my control
Yeah.
back,
And that
reclaiming my mind, reclaiming my power.
I like that. That sounds like a conference. Reclaiming your mind. That sounds like a conference, girl. Don't give me no
Okay,
ideas.
okay, yes,
Don't give me no ideas. But
yes.
yes, and you are so right about that because I've read Joyce Meyer's the Battlefield of the Mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that it speaks nothing but the truth. And
Yes,
you have to, and we have to remind ourselves that we, like you said, we are in control.
we are in
you know
control.
we are in control. And I find myself when because I work from home, so I have a lot of time in between what I'm doing, and my mind will go to wondering, and I'll sit here. Some days I get real lonely and I'm like, oh nope, absolutely not. I get my stuff, I put my earbuds in, I go take a walk, if
Mm-hmm.
it ain't nothing but out on my patio, just to get some fresh air, and
Mm-hmm.
just like you said, release it, and
Really,
remind myself, no, ma'am.
that's right.
Those are not your thoughts, Tammy. You're not lonely, girl. You are
Right.
happy and content, and you have peace. This is what
Yep.
you call peace.
Yep.
Okay, so I have to remind myself of that a lot, and you're right. And I believe in affirmations.
Look. Listen.
I believe in affirmation. Yeah, look at God. See, I knew. That's why I don't question when God tells me to do something. I don't even question it from beginning to end. I believe in affirmations. I have them all on my bathroom mirror. I go in my bathroom. I write them down. Look right here. I'm whole. I am whole. I have them. I believe in affirmation. I believe in positive. You have to remind yourself.
I'm gonna get you these cards.
Yes,
I'm gonna get
please.
you these cards, because this is one of my. When I pulled this card, no lie, I started crying, because I'm just like, ooh, it was like, I am valuable even when I experience rejection. Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. So this when I pulled this card, I'm like, this is probably one of my favorite cards, because when I pulled this, it was like, you know what, you are valuable even when you
Right.
experience rejection.
Right.
Like, don't allow that rejection to beat you down.
Absolutely not.
You know.
Because you know what? That rejection sometimes is God protection. I have to remind myself of that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell myself that, even as a little girl, it was a reason why God allowed my dad to see me grow up. It
Mm-hmm.
was a reason why God allowed me to be in his presence every weekend, every summer. But it was a reason why he didn't let him get close to me then.
Mm-hmm.
I have to remind myself of that all the time.
Right.
And that is so true. It's not when we feel like we're being rejected, because every little thing can make us feel, if you ever been rejected, every little thing can make you feel like you like it's rejected. But it's not. You just have to look at it. and turn it into a positive. Like, you know
You
what,
have
that was not meant for me.
you have to.
You know, it wasn't meant for me to be invited over there. It wasn't meant for me to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because God protects. He tries to protect. So let me not say try. Let me take that back. He protects those that he loves.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
he wants to make sure that we've come so far to get to where we're at. One little thing can throw us off if we're in the wrong space with the wrong people, you know, the wrong environment.
And one thing that I've learned too is to not dwell on the people that you're not receiving love from,
Oh,
and to love on and appreciate the people that are showing you love. Because just imagine yourself being around somebody that is trying to be positive to you, trying to be a friend to you, and all you worried about is the people that's not. How do you think that's making that person feel?
right.
So that's one thing that I've learned to do is to just really start loving and pouring into the people that are doing the same to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's what we have to do. And I tell people all the time, because I'll pull away. I will pull away because I have to take some time, like you said, self-reflect.
Mm-hmm.
I have to reevaluate sometimes myself, you know, and it's not personal, but I need time. I need time for Tammy because I have so many components. Like my mind will go to racing, and I question. I question every. I do, and I'm. That's the thing I'm working on mainly. I question everything, and I have to get me some downtime, and I have to look at and reevaluate and look at everybody in my life, what role they play. Is this good for me, or do I need to release this? You
Right.
know, and I find myself doing that quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing personal, but I have to do it because I don't want to go. I know where I come from
Mm-hmm.
and the things I've overcame because no, a lot of people don't know. I've shared it quite a few times, but I don't think a lot of people know that I have attempted suicide twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing but the grace of God that I'm still here. He has purpose for me. But those times that I attempted, I was at my lowest. I didn't feel love from no one. I had kids. I had my babies. But I didn't feel the love from no. I felt like my whole existence was non-existent. Do you hear me? I felt like my whole existence was non-existent. And it was nothing for me. It was nothing here for me. It was nothing for, and God had to show me otherwise. And that's why I'm so determined to talk about trauma, to bring a voice to it, to help others, you know, talk about mental health because it's real and we don't have to be ashamed of it.
No, no, we don't have to be ashamed. And I just want to let you know that I too have tried to in my life. And it's so sad that my sister is the one that kind of caught it. My younger sister at the time. And
Mhm.
it was not a good experience, and I look back at it and, we're talking about trauma and, sometimes we don't even realize the trauma that we put on ourselves.
Right. Oh,
You know, we don't even realize that we are doing it to ourselves because again, we are allowing our mind to take over. You know,
yes.
we are not intercepting that thought. We're
Right.
allowing it
That
to
little
run.
that little voice, that little voice, girl, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we allow it to run rapid and just take over. But we have to understand how much power we possess.
Right.
We have the power. We are the ones that put movement in our bodies, that wake up in the morning. We have that.
Right.
Our mind is doing it, but we control our mind. And we
Exactly.
understand that. We have to know that we are more powerful than our mind. We have to take control. We know the difference between right and wrong.
Right.
We know
Yes.
the difference between what type of atmosphere and we should put ourselves in. And then we as women, we have intuition. There are things that we can feel that men can't.
Nobody else can.
That and we have to tap into that.
Right.
We have to tap into it.
And that's real. And that's real. That intuition is real. And
Yeah.
trust me, I tell anybody, my woman's intuition never fails me. It has
No,
never failed me.
no. So when you
And
easy about a situation or when you feel it not right about it, you need to listen to that.
right,
You need to listen
right,
to when you hear your mind saying negative thoughts, especially about yourself. You need to
right,
look. You need to redirect that. You need to
right,
redirect that. You know?
right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I tell you, oh God, this was good.
Yeah.
This was listen, I can talk. Oh God, this was good.
This
And
was
it's so funny because again, when I have to say, when God gave me this, I was like, okay, Lord, I trust you. So you're gonna give me the people. You're gonna tell me who this is gonna be, because I can sit here and talk about it. I can talk about trauma all day long. I can talk about it, but it's something different when you can come and bring others along, and they can share their stories as well, so people can really see that, hey, it's others out here just like me.
right,
I'm not alone. I'm
right,
not crazy. I'm not making this stuff up,
right, right,
Hey,
right.
and I promise you, like I told you last night, I have been watching you. I said, this girl right here, she just amazes me. So encouraging. She's so inspirational. I was like, because I had my Facebook page up at the time, my Facebook group, and I used to share a lot of your things, and I was like, oh my God, I just love it. I just love it.
I
And
appreciate it.
when I started sitting down, I started writing, and God said, Renata. I was like, Renata, no. No, but he knew what he was doing, because I never knew. Now we see each other, we don't see each other often, but we do see each other, and we talk every now and then, but never knew. And you've been married to my brother in love, my god brother. You've been married to him for umpteen years, so never
Yeah,
knew we had so much in common. So this was really divine and orchestrated by God. And I
right.
thank him for that, because I never knew. And
And when I
this is
share, I never go into detail about everything that I've gone through or that I'm going through, because sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of privacy and stuff that you should keep, just
right,
because it's sad, but people can be judgmental. They
right,
can be like that. But I do feel like when it is on my heart to share, that
right,
I should share, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what God wants us to do, because he wants us to share our trials and tribulations that we are going through, so that at the end of the day, people can know that it was with him that we overcame that situation
right,
that we're going through. So the more that we share and we let people know how we overcame stuff with, putting God first in our lives, then we're sharing the word of God, and we're sharing how powerful he is, with
yes,
the hopes that they will turn to him too,
right,
because it's so much power in just reading the word and getting inspiration from it. You can take from it what you want, but there's so many parables and things that are in the Bible that are so relatable to our lives, that we can try to be more godlike in our practices that we do daily. We can
right,
out his light to shine through us. And that's why it's so important for me to wake up in the morning. Like, I have a routine. I wake up in the morning and I get into my Bible app. I do my plans. I read my devotionals. I write down the verse of the day, because I try to memorize
Right.
verses so that
Mm-hmm.
and get an understanding of them. And there are some of the Bible that I'm not gonna get really into it, but there are some things I don't. But at the end of the day, I use it for good.
Right.
Spend
Right.
that time in the morning just diving into it, hoping that His Word will cover me throughout the day. You know.
And it does. And it does.
Yes.
And that was, and I'm so glad you said that, because that was the inspiration behind me doing the journal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because I know, and like I said, I'm not a Bible scholar,
Mm-hmm.
but I read my word, I study my word, and I try to apply it. And I thank God for the teaching and the covering that I'm under at my church, my pastor, my first lady. I want to definitely shout them out, because oh my God, they have been awesome leaders, awesome mentors, and a great covering.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I try to apply. And he has taught us how to apply the word
That's
when we
right.
read it. Study it and apply it. And if we don't know, ask. You
Ask.
know, and that was the inspiration behind the journal, because I was like, if I can sit here and get all this inspiration from this one little scripture, and I can sit here and pray on it and meditate on it and then
Mm-hmm.
write my prayers. If this has helped me, I'm surely it can help someone else.
That's that's right. That's right.
And that's the whole, and spending time, because not only did it help me, does it not help me, because it still helps me sit and read in the word, and just it helps me heal and gain a different level of self-love and self-respect for myself.
Yeah.
And it also teaches me, the Bible teaches you, if you read it in several books of the Bible, how powerful women are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How
Mm-hmm.
powerful we are,
Yeah.
and the power that God has given us. So I really believe that, if we apply a lot of the things, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
we have to definitely work on our thoughts, and the Bible
Mm-hmm.
says that renew your mind every day.
Yes, it
You have to renew your mind every
does.
day.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And getting up, I'm gonna have to try yoga. I haven't tried. I'm gonna have to try that. I haven't tried that.
Come
So
with come with me one time.
I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I
Come with
am. My place of release is the beach. I like to go to the beach.
Let's
I
do
like.
beach. Let's do yoga on the beach.
Okay, let's do it. We'll yes, because I love to go to the water. That and release, ain't nothing like being at the water
Yeah.
and just releasing. Because I get there, I take my journals, I take my Bible, go to the
Yeah.
water, and just yes,
And
ma'am.
everybody think it's about being perfection and you got to get the poses right, but it's not about that. It's
Mm,
not. It's just about putting effort in and you staying in your lane and doing what you can do and doing what if you can't do it, then you do what you can.
right,
You know,
right.
it's not about perfection. It's really about. It's about your mind
It's about your mind,
and
right?
becoming one with your body and your soul. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
I love that.
I was doing a little bit of yoga before we started, and I was just doing like some balancing poses. And when I was doing those balancing poses, like that's all I was thinking about was balancing.
Mm,
Think about anything else. All I was thinking about was balancing, being there in that moment, right there,
mm.
right then. You know.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, Renata, I thank you. I thank you so much. This was awesome. I
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed it. I really did. I thank you. We're gonna definitely have to get together and do something again. Um, but this was awesome. I want to thank everybody. I've seen comments. I've seen a lot of comments come through. Just want to thank everybody for joining. Yeah. Look, in the beginning, we knew that technical difficulty, but hey, I was determined, because I knew that this is only the beginning. This is only the
Yeah.
beginning. And
Yeah.
so, thank you so much, sis. I love you.
You are
Thank
so welcome.
everybody for joining. All right.
And you just let me know. I'm here for you, for your support. Thank you for asking me to attend. Thank you for
Yes.
everybody watching. I just really appreciate you allowing me to, advocate for myself and, bringing awareness to trauma. And I just want to say that it doesn't matter. Do not ever let anybody belittle the trauma that you are going through.
Amen.
If you are going through, no matter how big or little it may seem to somebody else, you face it, deal with it, find ways to have an outlet for it. Don't ignore it. Don't tuck it away.
Absolutely.
We are, the thing that we have to also realize that we are not robots. We are human beings with feelings, and your feelings are valid.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because you know what? I was telling someone last week, I was telling them, don't dismiss your trauma, and don't allow nobody else to make you feel like you have to dismiss it, or for them to dismiss it, because trauma is real and trauma matters. You matter, and you are, and I tell people, you're not what, how does it go? You are not what happened to you.
You're not what happened.
You're not. You're not what happened to you.
And I'm just gonna face that shit and
Come
have
on.
your moments. But then you gotta move on from it though. Don't stay in it and wallow in it. Find
Absolutely.
out what that you can do to overcome it and conquer it, so that you can have a testimony to help somebody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say, I really, really thank you, because I know when we talked earlier, because I said, I don't want, my thing is, I'm comfortable with talking about I know some people are not. And I told you, I said, we ain't got to go deep. You know what I'm saying? We're going to stay at the comfort level, but we're going to let God move. We're going to go with the flow. So I thank you. I thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
But yeah, we don't sit in nothing. We're not sitting in it. We coming up out of it. And I tell people, I'll give you a day. I give you 24 hours. That's it. After that, come out fighting.
That's right.
Come out fighting. We're not having pity parties, because I know sometimes I need me a day. Sometimes I need me a day. So if I can allow myself that grace, I can allow you that grace. But after that 24 hours, get up.
Let's get up.
Let's go.
Let's get to moving.
Go.
Get to moving. That's
right. And you know what? Hold on, because I have a book. I have two books. It was one that you shared, and here we go. Got to excuse my office. But ladies, I'm telling you, this book right here, Overcoming Trauma, is a really good book. It breaks down all different types of traumas, everything, and it oh my God, it's really a good book. I haven't even finished it, because I had to sit and just I had to just let it sit, because it became real. It was like some of this stuff was jumping off the pages at me. So this is a good book. And this is the one I haven't even gotten around to yours yet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I can't wait to get into it. Get out of your head.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, that book has a workbook to go with it too.
I've seen that. So ladies, if y'all want to know about the books, hit me up. These books, awesome. And also, I got to promote myself. I'm going to promote myself before I end.
Yes.
Go to Amazon. Check me out. I have recently released and published my first inspirational prayer journal. It is on Amazon, available now. I will have copies on hand by the end of this week. So if you want a personalized autograph copy, hit me up. But if you just want to purchase your copy, and I'm telling you, take the time out and spend those 30 days, 30 minutes a day, 30 days, spend with God, meditate on that word, spend some time with yourself, reevaluate yourself, do some self-examination.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, after 30 days, you may not be where you want to be, but hey, you'll be on your way.
That's right. You won't be where you were when you started.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And hey, and let me tell you something. If you ever want to look good and fabulous and fierce, go check my sis out. Go check her out.
Y'all
Go.
read my blog. Go to iamrenata.com and read some of my blogs. Okay.
Yes, she is the hair therapist. Go check her out.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Growing plants and hair.
All right, all right.
Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. I love you. Everyone have a good night.